Hey everybody, it's Leah Ray from digitaltrailblazer.com. And in this video, I'm going to introduce you to one of our clients, Adrienne Hill, and she's going to tell us all about how she was able to make over $100,000 within just a few months of implementing our program. And not only that, but how she was able to do that by converting 25% of her audience into customers with an 800% return on her ad spend. So listen up, because I know you're going to get a ton of value out of what Adrienne has to say.
All right, so tell us a bit about yourself.
Hi. So yeah, I'm glad to be here with you today. So I'm Adrienne Hill, and I help entrepreneurs, specifically coaches, course creators, and network and affiliate marketers, to build the skills, structure, and systems they need to scale to six figures online. So I actually started down the entrepreneurial journey a handful of years ago, almost in the worst way. Like, it was a painful beginning. It's what I jokingly refer to as like a dumpster fire of a beginning. But I think a lot of people feel that way, right? There's a lot of people who, in the beginning you're told like, oh, the products will practically sell themselves. And that's just never true.
No, never.
And so in the beginning, I struggled quite a bit. I started in network marketing. And so, of course, a lot of the advice I was getting was basically to just prospect myself to death. Mm-hmm. And I ended up developing an aversion to prospecting that to this day, I don't like it to be a part of my business model. But it was actually a blessing to have gotten such bad advice in the beginning, honestly, because I started to learn over time as I began a quest for knowledge of learning how to do it better, that every single challenge, every obstacle, every objection I was facing, every complaint from my downline was actually like, that was the ticket to success. If I could focus in and zero in on those problems and how to solve them, that's when everything started to open up for me. And so basically, every time I encountered a problem or an obstacle, I used it as a launch pad to success. And it was almost like following a path of breadcrumbs and kind of piecing together the puzzle pieces as I went.
I love that. Wonderful. So what was your situation before you started working with us?
So prior to meeting Todd and Leah Ray, I was working in the corporate world as a project manager, managing multi-million-dollar launches for Fortune 500 companies. And so I was leading teams of dozens of people and launching billion-dollar brands or helping to manage billion-dollar brands. And so I was very accustomed with, large marketing campaigns, working with agencies, managing teams, complex situations. And I liked managing all the moving pieces and parts. So, I didn't dislike my career. I was quite happy in it, actually, and pretty fulfilled. I kind of liked being the ringmaster of the circus, if you will. However, what I saw happening quite often in corporate America did not align to the morals and ethics that I held personally. And so it was becoming increasingly harder to stay in that world. And I saw them laying off people by the hundreds or sometimes even thousands every 3 years or so.
Wow.
And that just didn't sit well with me, morally or ethically, but also I realized I could build the healthiest career ever, and I would never be safe. I would never really have true security. And so that's ultimately what pushed me into entrepreneurship. That combined with, I wanted to own my time, and I wanted the freedom to work where and when and how I wanted to. And I realized there's no reason I couldn't take the natural skills that I had honed, over my 20-year career and simply apply them to a business of my own. So my heart is with helping the little guys, but using everything I learned in building these massive brands to now help the little guys to be more successful.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. So before you got our help as a coach and joining our program, what were you looking to achieve? Like, what were you seeking and trying to get to that next level?
Yeah. So I was really trying to figure out, I knew funnels were important in a business. And I knew they were important in terms of leading people from the point where they first discover you and you're a stranger to them to the point where they're ready to make a purchase. And so I was really working on trying to streamline my funnels, but I was also really wanting to hone in on how to use video, specifically in business, to help develop rapport and a connection with people, and how to really fine tune my marketing and copywriting. Even though I had that great corporate background, digital marketing is different.
Yes, it is.
Right? Especially when you're marketing yourself versus marketing a big brand. And so I was really looking to refine all of those areas. And so, of course, when I met you guys and saw what you were offering, I knew that there were a lot of golden nuggets in there that could help me to, sharpen my skills or improve my funnels or nail my marketing or simplify, make sure I had the right email sequences connected to my funnels and things like that.
Awesome. That's great. So what had you tried in the past previously and that it just didn't go as you wanted? I don't know if you can call it failure, or a learning opportunity or whatever.
Yeah. I tell my clients all the time, with everything you do in business, you're either going to get the result you want or you're going to get the learning you need to get the result you want. And so I had gone through many rounds of getting learning without results yet prior to meeting you guys. And honestly, most of it was I've met a lot of entrepreneurs who are very much like this. I had kind of become addicted to consuming online courses.
Mm-hmm.
But what I was learning is that I would go through a course and I would consume all the material. And at the end, I'd have a list of all these questions. And there was really no one to turn to ask for help with implementation.
Right.
And so when I met you guys and saw what you had going on, I realized I need to actually connect human to human to get help on the implementation side. And that's really a lot of what you guys helped me with, of course. And now I am actually getting results and success rather than just learning opportunity after learning opportunity.
Yeah, it's so true. So many people get the theoretical knowledge, but it's so different to go from theoretical knowledge to actually implementing it correctly for your specific situation in your business. And that's where being able to connect with someone with expertise who's been there, done that for themselves and for countless others, that's where the magic happens for sure.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's
Awesome.
The devil's in the details, and it always comes down to implementation.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That's where a course is never going to get you as far along as coaching. And if you're blending coaches with training and coaching, that's when you're really going to get the best results.
Yeah, I totally agree. 100%. So you can go through all of the fine details as many times as you want with all of the videos and training. And then you layer on, okay, now for me, for my situation, this is what I'm doing, right? Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Yeah. And here's how you make it even better. Absolutely. Yeah. So what made you want to join our program?
Well, I knew from having taken a lot of your courses, right? And from just observing you for quite a while on YouTube, that you guys really knew your stuff, right? You had climbed the ranks, gone, made it through many challenges, and that you had enough background and knowledge that if I ran into an issue, I was confident you could help me resolve it, number one. Mm-hmm. But number two, after having seen the inside of your courses, the great detail that you guys go to when you are screen sharing and giving tutorials and showing detailed steps of what to do next. Mm-hmm. I knew at the phase of business that I was in that I needed that. I'm not super techie. I've become more techie, but screen sharing tutorials are super helpful to me. And I knew that you guys always did a really good job of that. And I also really appreciate your communication style. It's very clear and logical and direct and easy to action. And so when you're translating knowledge into implementation, making sure it's actionable is key to me. And so your communication style just really resonated with me.
Awesome. Well, thank you. So what do you feel like with our program, what helped you the most? Like, what do you think, and why was it so effective for you?
For me, I almost think, well, there's a couple pieces. If I can have more than one.
Okay. Yes.
The first one that really kind of hit me and impacted me was I always knew the power and intellectually I understood the power of behavioral adaptive marketing, but I had never successfully implemented it in a really clean, consistent way. I had tried setting up multiple email sequences with like smart logic, if you will, right? But they always ended up feeling really messy and just didn't quite come together right. So when I saw the detail in which you built your funnel around like a class or a webinar that leads to an offer, and all of the behavioral adaptive marketing inside of, if the person watches the full class, they see this email, but if they leave early, they see this email. And if they've seen the offer, they see this, or maybe they don't if they have not seen the offer. I had always struggled to put that together in a really clear, concise way that I knew would work every time.
Right.
And when I saw specifically the email funnel that you guys had put together that had all the right behavioral adaptive marketing elements built in a really clean, concise way that I knew would consistently deliver without any tech issues. That was huge to me, because I know if you want to hire that out, if you're trying to hire someone to build something like that for you, oh, you're paying big money.
Yeah.
And we're talking like big money.
Yes, that is totally true.
Or even if you're not building a complicated funnel like that, but you're simply looking for someone to help you write some emails, hiring a copywriter is very expensive. And even if you do hire just a singular copywriter for something like that, they may not understand the big picture of what you're trying to build or the full funnel it's going into. And so you can have disconnects of language and it can get messy. And so the fact that it was all put together in such a cohesive, clean way was, I felt like I had hit the jackpot, honestly, when I saw it on the inside of that particular funnel. And so, I was really thrilled to see that part first and foremost.
That's awesome.
But the second piece that was really helpful to me that I always appreciate about you guys and how you train and how you coach was the great guidance on how to put together a good webinar or masterclass. The sequencing of events, the thought process behind what you say and how you say it, the order in which to approach the elements of a masterclass, and just how it all comes together psychologically to benefit the viewer as much as possible, yet also improve conversions on the back end as much as possible at the same time. So it's a true win-win for the creator and the viewer. So that piece was particularly helpful to help me fine-tune my class and improve it every single time I delivered it, and to help continue to make sure it's converting better and better every time it's out in front of an audience.
No, that's awesome. That's fabulous. So what did our program help you to achieve?
So once I had put everything together and I started implementing it, first of all, it allowed me to test a number of different ways I could execute my masterclass or my webinar. And I've learned the art of split testing is it's like magic to a digital marketer, right? You're never done testing. And in fact, you never want to be done testing. So I have, in the very beginning, I had some really interesting resistance to live delivery of the class. I just wanted to jump straight to a pre-recorded evergreen.
Everybody
wants to do that.
Understands
right?
that, yeah.
But now that I'm experiencing the power of split testing and refinement, I almost want to deliver it live every time. And I know long-term I can't do that.
Yeah.
But I'm appreciating more and more the value that comes out of the live delivery, learning to react to your audience, just being able to pick up intuitively where you need to make some changes to your message. And so that going through that process, I was able to test both a version where I ran the traffic to a sales page or an offer directly, and I shared pricing, versus a version of the class where it's simply at the end, their only option was to book like a strategy or a consultation call with me, to test out both of those options. And in my most recent delivery, I guess for people who may be watching this who don't realize like what normal conversion rates are, if you're sharing your price and you can convert 10% of the audience, that's great. Like 10% is kind of like you're doing, if you hit 10%, you're doing great.
Yeah.
So over the course of refinement, when sharing the price, I've been able to convert at 10%. And when driving the traffic towards like more of a booking and consultation, most recently, I was able to convert at 25%, which yay, was huge, right?
Yeah, huge.
Absolutely.
That's super impressive. So talk numbers, like where, when you first started implementing what we helped you to, what we taught you and worked with you in the program, what did that look like? And then where are you now with it?
Yeah. So prior to implementing everything that I had learned, I was bringing in anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000 a month. It wasn't anything to turn your nose up at, but it wasn't enough to leave that corporate job.
Right.
Either. And I really wanted the freedom of leaving the corporate job. Like, that's been on my goal board for a while. So when I implemented and actually activated everything I had learned, I immediately made 6 figures in 6 months, which for me was life-changing. To me, I just thought, if I can earn 6 figures, number one, once you do it once, you can do it again.
Right.
Right. And number 2, 6 figures was really the threshold I was wanting to hit to feel comfortable leaving that corporate job. And so my goal actually was like, hey, if I can earn 6 figures in a year, great. So the fact that I did it in 6 months was, it was very exciting. Okay. Belief and confidence went through the roof. And I realized, like, I haven't even started the fine-tuning, split testing side of this yet, and I've already hit these metrics. And so I knew that I could feel very confident leaving the corporate job and not even think twice about it. And I haven't. And it was a huge weight off my shoulders to leave and to never look back with, doubt. To never look back and think, did I leave too soon? Or should I have done it late? Like, never once have I looked back, and it has been a completely joyful process, actually. Yeah. So that was beautiful.
That's awesome. So your initial launch, what kind of numbers did you see with that going through the program?
So the very first time I launched what I call my signature program, I believe the first launch was about $22,000. And actually, what I did is I launched it initially, and then every 6 to 8 weeks, I would refine it and relaunch it, relaunch it. I started that, fine tuning, split testing process. And very consistently, every time I launch it, I make anywhere from 20 to 30,000 per launch. But most recently, what I'm really excited about is that as I started implementing some of the more fine-tuned elements of some of the funnels that you guys offer, particularly the PDF prep guide, when you're asking people where you're driving the traffic to a booked call,
right?
Providing a PDF prep guide that helps them prepare for that call. That's when I again saw another huge shift in my business. So prior to implementing that into my funnel, I was converting roughly 25% of my clients would pay in full, and 75% would be on a pay plan. Now, I love pay plans because it's very consistent, repeatable income, right? Which is never a bad thing as an entrepreneur. However, cash is king, and money in the bank, especially if you want to reinvest into your business, or you want to start bringing in some more tools or whatever it may be. It's always nice to have cash reserves. And so I did want to work on improving or increasing the number of people that were paying in full. And so in the beginning, prior to implementing your prep guide, I was converting, again, about 25% paid in full. Most recently, after I perfected that PDF prep guide and relaunched this past month, 100% of the clients paid in full. Every single one of them.
That is amazing. That is amazing. So like what kind of, how big was that, like income wise?
So that was actually, I talked to another girl tomorrow who will be signing up. So that'll be $24,000 in cash in a single week. Practically a week and a day, because we're talking tomorrow, but we're splitting hairs here.
That is impressive. That is awesome.
And it happened at a great time because, I happen to be moving right now. I'm moving across state lines, and it's expensive to move, and there's a lot of logistics. We're renovating and building a house. So it couldn't have come at a better time. So, and honestly, is there ever a bad time to make $24,000 in a week? No, there's not.
Probably not. No, not that I can think of.
But it was especially helpful for us. So we're very grateful. I say us, meaning my husband and I, we're very grateful.
Awesome. Yeah. That is so cool. So can you break down for me sort of your ad spend? Because I know that you do work with Facebook ads and some things, and then the ROI that you've been able to get.
Yeah, absolutely. So I use both organic and paid traffic generation strategies. But on the paid side specifically, so this last time that I launched my program, I did lean very heavily on ad spend. I wanted to see how my offer converted with a cold audience, right? Because the ultimate goal, right, is to take someone from cold to sold,
right,
as efficiently as possible. And that's really what I wanted to test out this past launch. And so previous launches, of course, I had bringing in about that $20,000 to $25,000 mark, but it was with a warmed up audience, right? Who they, through various means, they had already gotten to know me. I wanted to test with a very cold audience. And so I spent, I believe, about $3,000 on ads over the course of a week. So it was, it was very condensed, where I was running a lot of traffic into basically, I was like running a challenge, a Facebook challenge or a workshop, you could call it. And then out the other end, I made 24,000.
Wow.
So that's like a 8x ROI. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That is a very impressive ROI. Congratulations.
I will do that again and again all day long.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That is beautiful. Great job. So with that, being able to get a really good ROI, 8x the amount of money you're putting into ad spend, like, has that been able to shift your business or your daily activities at all? Because I know there's a lot of people out there that are stuck messaging and talking to people all day long, and they're doing the organic thing, which is just really prospecting, and they have no time for anything else, and they burn out really fast. So talk to me about that and being able to have the systems in place to be able to create that ROI and grow from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you recall, I grew up in network marketing and I was traumatized by nonstop prospecting. So I wanted to work that out of my business. I don't ever want that to be my day-to-day operations, if you will. So yeah, one of the biggest differences in what my life looks like now is, of course, I used to work the 40 hours a week for the corporate job. And that's why I was craving that time freedom so much. I was very much a slave to my job, right? I was wearing those corporate handcuffs, right? Now I make just as much money or more, but I'm really spending, every other week, I have face-to-face time with my clients. Once every 6 to 8 weeks, I'm running one of these launch cycles. So, I mean, it's far less work. Actually make a lot more money.
Yay.
I mean, not going to lie, it feels great. And then, of course, whether or not I want to layer in more work or more activities or more projects within those kind of guardrails is up to me, right? And there's periods where I'm investing, of course, more time because I'm working on a pet project, or less time because I'm spending it with my family. But at that point, it's my choice.
Right.
So rather than working 40 hours a week, it's probably, depending week to week, it can vary anywhere from 3 hours to maybe 25, but it's probably never more than 25. And the weeks that it's only 3, it's a great week, right? So it feels really good. There's a lot of freedom in it.
Oh, I can imagine. Well, congratulations. That is living the dream. Like, that is so many people who are struggling out there, who are stuck in the corporate grind. They're stuck, sending the kids to daycare all day or just being away from home. And that's exactly what they're looking for. So I hope they got some great inspiration from that. That's beautiful.
Oh, I hope so. Because if I can do it, you can do it. Absolutely.
So what has changed in your life being able, from when you first got introduced to us to actually going through the program, implementing it? Tell us how it's, changed your life as a whole.
Yeah. So many ways. First of all, I got way more comfortable on camera. It made me get on camera a lot. And so just being able to not be afraid of a camera is a really good thing. Not that I was fearful of it, but I wasn't comfortable with it per se.
Right.
But since meeting you guys, I've become very comfortable with the camera. It really doesn't feel like anything to me anymore, which is good.
Yeah.
Now I feel far more confident in my marketing abilities, in my just confidence to try new things. And to know that if I do have questions, I mean, of course, I have a good support system behind me now, which is always a good feeling. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs feel like no one speaks their language, no one understands them, no one's really there to support them, right? So that's always huge when you find that. I remember feeling like, oh, these people actually speak my language. Like, how refreshing is this? This is wonderful. Just someone who understood me was a really nice change. But of course, being able to leave my corporate job was a huge change for me.
Yeah.
And being able to move to where I really want to live, to finally live the lifestyle that I want. I was spending almost all of that 6-figure corporate salary escaping the place I lived to go to where I really wanted to be. And so now to be able to leave the corporate job and just move to where I actually want to live has been a big lifestyle bonus, right? Of getting help with implementing, but also the freedom to be able to see my kids and spend time with them when and where and however I want, right? So to be able to help my daughter move into her first apartment and show up anytime she needs me and not have someone looking over my shoulder of when I'm coming back to work, right? That was nice. And now, with my son going off to the Marines, to be able to take him on a special vacation, just he and I, and number one, while we're on the vacation, not worry about money, but number two, take the time we want to just be together and have fun together. And again, no one's looking over my shoulder when I'm coming back to work, right? Because I'm my own boss. And that, so a lot of lifestyle changes have really benefited our family immensely.
I love that. That gets me so excited because not only are you helping people with your program and what you're doing, in the business world, but it's impacting your home. It's impacting your spouse, your husband, your children, making those kind of memories, because that's one heartbreaking thing that I've run into talking to different people at different stages in life. I feel like we have kind of often two kind of different types of people that connect with us. One, they still have kids that are in the household, that they're, in the middle of it, just like we are. And oftentimes there's also the grandparents. And it's so sad when you talk to the grandparents and they say, I didn't have that time with my kids. Yeah. I wasn't able to make that time for them, but now I got grandkids and I'm not doing that again. Right. Being able to just the freedom and the ability to make those memories, and that being able to create a world where more parents are free to do that, that's going to make a big impact as well. And that's beautiful.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Memories are the most valuable thing you'll ever create in life. And I became a big believer. Part of the reason time freedom and financial freedom were so critical to me, I was seeking them so thoroughly, was because, I lost both of my parents. And I realized after they were gone, it wasn't any of their things that gave me joy after they were gone. In fact, the few belongings I had of theirs made me cry whenever I saw them, right? Really what I treasured the most were the memories.
Yeah.
Right. And all of my best memories with them, they were when we were away from work, we were away from school, we were off the grid, we were often in nature, right? We were present with each other. We were in charge of our time in those moments, those snapshots in time. We owned that moment. And those are the clearest memories that I have with them. And so I really wanted to give my kids the gift of the richest memory bank ever. But in order to do that, right, you have to own your time. Right. You have to have time freedom. You have to have enough financial freedom to be able to have the resources to go and make those memories.
Right.
Right. And so I really wanted that deeply, deeply. I wanted to create that for my kids. And so now, now I can. And I'm really excited to be taking this special trip with my son before he goes off to basic training, because, God forbid, if something happens, I'm going to treasure those memories. Well, I'm going to treasure them anyway. Right. But, right. It's nice to know that we have the time and freedom to do that.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. I absolutely love it. So what would you say to anyone who's considering booking a call with us to see how we can help them in their business?
Yeah. So I know whenever you're about to make a big shift in your business, stepping into your greatness or stepping into something that feels, I mean, it's a big deal to stop playing small,
Right.
and to be willing to say, I'm going to invest in myself. I'm going to take this seriously. So I know it feels like a big investment, and it can feel scary, right? To truly believe in yourself and step into your greatness. If it wasn't scary, it wouldn't be big enough, right? Like you have to go for those big shifts in your business sometimes. And honestly, I mean, all of your growth, all of your success is probably on the opposite side of stepping in and being willing to invest in yourself and invest in your business, whether it's investing time or money or belief, right? You have to believe in yourself. So I would just say, whatever is scaring you, whatever is making you feel nervous, whatever is making you hesitate, going through that and moving through that is exactly what will give you the result that you want. Number one. But number two, when you have the right level of training and coaching that comes together with a program like this, you have someone literally walking you over the finish line. You don't have to figure it out yourself. And you can make 10 times more money, 10 times faster with the right level of support, right? If you keep trying to do it yourself, you're going to make 10 times less for 10 times longer. So why not just step up and commit, burn the bridges, like burn the boats, right? Have you ever heard that saying? And jump in. I'm so glad I did. I wish I could rewind and do it sooner, honestly. And so I just get giddy and excited thinking of all the people who will actually finally shift into that place of getting results if they're just brave enough.
Yeah.
To believe in themselves and to step into their purpose.
Absolutely. Wow. So true. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me here.
So if people wanted to learn more about you, learn about your business, how you help people, how should they connect with you?
Oh, great question. So I share a lot of what I'm learning myself, but also what I'm learning from other industry experts every week in the Impactful Entrepreneur Show. So if impact is really what's driving you, and if you have a bigger vision for what your business is all about, but you also recognize the impact starts with you. First, you have an impact on yourself, and then it's on your family. And then it's potentially on your community or on the broader world. It has to start with you, right? And so the Impactful Entrepreneur Show could be a place where you could get the inspiration and the education you need. And you'll see Todd and Leah Ray on the show as well, of course. So you could find me there. We're on all of the major podcast platforms, but you can find me on YouTube. The show is also broadcast there, or of course, through my blog on my website. And we'll include a link for that.
Awesome. So if you want to learn more about Adrienne, what she does, you can check out the links next to this video. Also, if you would like to get our help to create, launch, sell, and scale your online course or coaching program and see if we can help you the same way we helped Adrienne, then click the button on this page, or there should be a link in the description of this video, depending on where you're watching. But click the button or the link to book a call with us. Now, we'll give you a free evaluation of your business. Take a look at where you're at, what problems you're facing, what are preventing you from reaching your goals. And then we'll show you what you need to do to get on the fast track to success and how we can help you get there. So click that button next to this video, book a time to speak with us, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.